Hey everybody, what's happening? I'm Tommy, and you're on the lifeboat. You know what? Some of my buttons, some of the things that I push on to get this thing up and off the ground have been moved. I don't know exactly how that happened, but I'm uh, I'm not one that does real well with change if it has anything to do with a computer. Kind of threw me for a loop when I tried to fire this thing up. Dale Cox, good to see you. Jason P, what's happening? I live for now. A Rolling Stone. Third eye open. How you been? Let's see. Seventh, Nancy, by my love. Well, hello. How are you? Jimena, good to see you. Alex Moore, Cricket, Chow on Smart. But first, a little coffee. Hello, Susie. How are you? Hey, Rose K. Can I get a witness? Janice Bailey. Hey, Tommy Bird, how are you? Shannon Smith, what's up? Michelle Hogg, good to see you. Nat B from Canada, Goosebumps 801, what's up? And from Massachusetts, Jen Hobbs, how are you? Hey, is that Yorkie Mom 65? I think it is. So, what'd you guys do today? Jilbo Baggins, Annika's mom. There's Lynn Sanity. Dee Razzle Dazzle. Lucinda, what's happening? DS Kitty. SMSP. I think that's what that is, right? I never get that right. Seriously, it's like my learning disability kicks in every time I try to do that. I'm not even being funny. Hey, Melman's wife. Good to see you. Squirrel Girl, what's up? Beverly, how are you? Saguaro Christmas, my favorite kind of Christmas. Bacon Bits Ben Turner, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Crafty Witch, hope you're doing all right. Well, hi, Hilky. Yeah. All right, now let's blow this thing up a little bit, and we'll try to do a little visiting and hang out for a little bit here and see what happens. Jamie Palmer, how are you? Tommy, I know the feeling. I'm in the process of learning a new keyboard. Yeah, why would you? You want to hear something that should really make you angry? Do you know why the keyboard is laid out the way that it is? To slow down your typing. I swear to God, I'm telling you the truth. Back in the day when typewriters used to go up and strike things, people, when it was first laid out, they did it in alphabetical order. But people knew where the keys were, and they got really good really quick. And sadly, the strikers would catch each other. So they had to slow down. And they put this silly thing out here, and for whatever reason, have never decided to change it, which just seems stupid to me. It would make a lot more sense if they just put it in alphabetical order. For real. Hey, Snake, Lisa Trimble. How are you, Lisa Trimble? There's Jay Rambo. Aspire to Inspire. Love that name. Bigsy, how you been? Hey, Melissa, what's up? Auntie Monkey Pants. Kristen Melinda. Howdy. That's all right. We'll let it slide. You do have to kind of take care of the kid. I kind of get that one. This time anyway. Brazy Girl, how are you? Jimena is here. Shannon Smith, Annika's mom, Alex Moore, Zelda. I think we got just about everybody. And if not, I will apologize. Hello, Joanne. Sharon Glass from North Wales. Love that. Love that. Other side of the pond. Roberta, how you been? Can't think of a better name. Hello, Donna. Yeah, so what did you guys do today? Kenny, how you been? I have a feeling that that most of you spent the day watching Quibble. Florence, how are you? She was busy today. Yorkie mom. Lumen, there you are. Lumen. I love that. I really do. It's a whirlwind. Oh, I love that. You're having a mental health weekend with your family. What a cool thing. If more people did that. Honestly, it would be a much better land. And I don't mean ours. I'm talking about right, that big ball. No joke. Hey, Scoob. Casey, how you been? Casey, beautiful today, man. Kathy Ann, what's up? Yeah, Casey sent me some watches. Her guy got in. Really good selection. Got in all at once. Hey, having us, Dad Conroe. Good to see you. KAG. What's happening, KAG? DS Kitty. Treats for squirrel nut zipper. That is one of the most spoiled animals in North America. I mean, you see the videos. Like I'm not very good at putting my foot down. It's one of those things. Squirrel works me. I know straight out that I've been trained and it's not the other way around. Like I completely get that. Just giving back to the best content on the YouTube streets. Thank you, AB. I really appreciate that. I tip my waitresses and waiters for far less excellence. Thank you for the never-ending informative and transparent content. Thank you. You know what? That's a very kind thing to say, and I really do appreciate it. Honest to God, I do. Thank you. So it's been a weird, hell, it's been a weird couple of months, right? If we want to keep it real, it's been a pretty strange couple of months. It may not seem as strange if you're watching it from the outside, right? But if you think about what Quibs and I have done in the last, 10 or 12 weeks, right? Holy hell, right? She got divorced, moved, and then exposed something that she's been sitting on for a really, really long time. This has been a hell of a time. Hello, Robin. Good to see you. Dan C, what's up? Very tired, but here. I appreciate you. Lisa from Jersey. Lisa, I went to clear frames today. I was thinking of you. Nico, glad you're here. Hello, Mary. All right. Yeah, those old-fashioned typewriters were so stupid. My other's Keeper and Jesse Brown. What's up, Jesse Brown? Good to see you. Haggis Basher. Well, you don't see a Haggis Basher nearly often enough. Debbie Zito. All right, so we had some. If you watched Quibble, and you probably caught her on at least one of the places that she's been, but if you caught her, then you probably are aware of the fact that we got some news that got to us that there may be some people that don't have our best interest involved with this, where this cruise is going, where it's docking, some unusual stuff. And you know what? I mean, it's probably BS. It really is. It's probably BS. But I do live a really different life. And that's just kind of one of the realities of being me, sadly. Kathy says, had a great experience testing my son in ASPC Kingman in real time with highlights from your live stream last night. Doing it again tonight. Wow, how cool is that? That is awesome. It really is. I love that. I really do. I absolutely love that. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer about the cruise, to be sure. This isn't but it's crazy because we're not really, I mean, we're public figures. We're not famous by any stretch. Kirsten in Copenhagen, love it. Thank you so much. Please do an interview with Jamie Mustard. I will. I can look into that. I absolutely can look into that. Amy Edge, good to see you. Flick Fox, what's happening? Who did I just miss? Hey, Martha. Damn, I forgot to pay my troll, cellist, and jerk tax along with my 30% YouTube third wheeling BS. Screw the haters. Screw the hater-a-thon. That said, be safe always. That's so funny. It really is. And that's the key here, people. I live a very different life because, and I'm not I'm not rubbing my hands together and saying, woe is me, I'm a victim, because I'm not. But I don't have another, I don't have another one. They're not going to give me any kind of a break ever again. If I end up in a court for any reason, no one's ever going to see me again. And it's kind of legit. I mean, maybe I've turned my life around and whatever, but if you just sat down and looked at my past, you probably wouldn't be that fired up to just go, yeah, this guy should hang out on the street. It's 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 a bummer. There are people that are coming on the streets from all over the world, and people that we really look forward to meeting. Whether or not whether or not we go, I don't. Quibs and I have not had an opportunity. We've been talking about it for a really long time, but we haven't had an opportunity to talk about it since going live, and it's very important that she sees what everyone thinks. She really thrives on feedback, especially from this audience, because this really is a very unique audience. Yeah, and I'm not just saying the boat. I'm talking about everybody. Larry Brightboy says you can't risk the life you've built, and I think that there's something to that. You know what I mean? I do think that there's something to that. Now, on the flip side of that, Packer girl looking great and green. On the flip side of that, right? If you knew how many times I went someplace where someone was supposed to do something, even since YouTube, since I started doing this stuff on YouTube, where somebody shot their mouth off and they were usually people, they're a lot of them are really good at this. But this brings up kind of an interesting point too. This is something that is in Quib's head, the stuff about me. So this is definitely something that she's worried about because we live a very unusual life. How do you get somebody? How do you get at somebody who doesn't have any that doesn't have a closet door? You know, normally what these people do is look for skeletons in your closet, right? Quibs doesn't have a closet door, never has, right? So there's just not much to go on there at all. So cracks me up. It really does. It cracks me up. But because of the fact that there isn't anything you can go at her with, I think she's afraid that they're going to go at me. And well, and then it doesn't help that I mean this is 4 months, before this. This is something that has been in her head since the day I got to Kansas City. Honestly, I think this has been in her head since I arrived in Kansas City, and I think this has been. I think this is hard on her too. I really do. You remember back in the day when it would look like we weren't really clicking, and something just wasn't right. I think that there are times where, I think almost to kind of to protect me, she likes to try to push me away from what we're doing. Fortunately, it hasn't happened in a long time, but I think that was something that happened in the beginning, and I think some of it had to do with that fear. Analytical Blarney says, part of me wants to tell you both to flip the bird and call it a day. The other part of me says, Quibs and I are 40 now. We can't wild out anymore. You know something? I have a lot of fun picking on her about that 40 thing. When I was in Bug Tussle, that was something that I was dropping like about every 15 minutes. I'd figure out a way to work in you are 40 now, that kind of thing. Which is good because Quib's got a good sense of humor and she usually fires back. I understand everybody who says it's not worth the risk, and it probably isn't. But there's also it kind of makes you feel like you're backing down, and that's a very uncomfortable feeling, right? It just is. And you definitely don't want to feel like there are like they can keep me from doing things that I want to do. That's enough to piss off the Pope. In all honesty, that really is. Lucinda says, if this was a Mediterranean cruise, would you all feel the same? I'm just begging people with a platform to double think coasting doubt on traveling to the Caribbean. You know what? This has nothing to do with, this has to do with a very specific group of people. This has nothing to do with anything else. It's not about it's not about this region of the world. It's about a religion that's got some pretty deep roots in one of those places. It's and it sucks, right? This is this. Thank you so much, Lucinda. This is one of those things that shouldn't happen, right? This is one of those things that shouldn't happen, but it is one of those things that this does happen. I've been talking about this now for probably 2 years, but at 12:06. At 12:06, right after midnight, somebody's going to send me an email and it's going to say it's not a question of if, it's a question of when you will be found dead with a needle in your arm. I get that every single night at 12:06, and I have for years. I mean, literally now, this is one of the most dedicated douchebags on earth. Every time I block his email, he makes another one. I mean, you really got to give him. I assume it's a him. It could be a her. But you got to give the troll credit. They're going the extra mile. It's just a good idea to mellow out for a while and let things settle down, says Susie with an S. And you know what? I understand exactly where Susie's coming from on that. Because once again, there are a lot of really weird people on planet Earth, right? There are a lot of really weird people on planet Earth. And going forward, I think that it'll probably be a situation where when we do things, we're not going to telegraph them. Like telling people where we're going to be at certain times is probably not such a great idea anymore. And it may just seem ridiculous. And again, I got to talk to Quibs. I know that she has a far bigger heart than I do, honestly. And this is killing her to the degree that it's also really hard on us as a couple. We're not in the same state, and this is a hard thing to navigate if we were sitting next to each other and I had my arm around her. But now I'm not there, and we communicate a hell of a lot better in person. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen that before. But Quibs and I we really do click a whole lot better when we're sitting in the same room. So this is just one of those things. Mary, it's funny. People always say, you got to report all of those threats to the authorities, and I did. Like in the beginning of the boat, I did all of them. Like, I mean, anybody that did anything. And then you just get to a point where you're like, holy hell, do you have any idea how many times I've done this? And no one ever goes, hey, we got them, right? Got that person that's been doing that, right? They're we gave them a fat ass fine or something like that, right? They're going to do 90 days in the county jail. Throw me a bone here, right? Throw me a bone. But eventually you kind of start saying, you know what? I'm a public figure. Right. And sadly, when you're a public figure, and it's funny as hell because it doesn't always, it's very easy to kind of lose track of things. Right. But like the other Quibs did a video the other night. It's got like 18,000 views. That's Madison Square Garden. Right. For real. Madison Square Garden can fit 20,000. For most rock shows, because of what they do with the stage and all that, it's about 18,000 seats. It's a big damn arena, right? It's a lot of people that are watching what's going on, and not everybody loves it. Right? You guys do, and you guys are awesome. You really are. And unfortunately, sometimes the people that don't like us can be just as, they can cause as much trouble. It shouldn't happen. It's wrong. Part of me wants you two to say, F off into the ether. You don't control us. This is bigger than you now. Stay safe. I really, I'm going to, I'm not going to be saying here tonight, hey, we're doing this or we're not. I would never do that without talking to my partner at length. And I really wanted to kind of get a pulse from everybody as well. My gut says I could go on this cruise and nothing is going to happen. Truthfully, that's what my gut said. It does. And I don't know about Quib's gut, but then what happens is inevitably somebody goes, yeah, but if. because I'll tell you something. This is, as I said, it's a very different world for me than it is for somebody else. And what I mean by that is, if I'm in a room, right? If I'm in a room and $100 bill comes up missing, people think, you know what? That dude relapsed. That dude took that bill. I'm not kidding. This is something that happens. You're not innocent until proven guilty. If you've got a rap sheet that goes from here to Boston, right? And I'm not saying, oh, woe is me. I did every crime on there. I think there might be one actually that I pled guilty to that I didn't, just because sometimes they'll throw that a deal in on, and even though if you you didn't do it, you're like, if this gets all taken care of today and I can walk out of here, you can throw that one in too. I don't care. No joke. That's done every day. Trisha Briggs, but most everything on my jacket I did. As I was telling Reese, her safety and yours is the most important thing. It's not worth the risk, in my opinion. Trisha, thank you. I really, yeah, it's the it's just a kick in the abdomen because when I walked out of prison, if I do something or I'll help someone on the boat or whatever, they'll say, you didn't have to do that, right? You don't have to do that. I don't have to do anything, right? I don't have to do anything. The realization walking out of the joint that, you know what? No one's going to tell me what I have to do ever again in my life. It's never going to happen. I'll shower when I want to shower. I'll go to the bathroom when I want to go to the bathroom. I'll eat when I want to eat, right? No one's ever going to tell me what to do again. That's kind of where my head has always been. And the nice thing about this is, because a couple of people have reached out and said, you're letting these people rule your life. Well, we're still making decisions. Regardless of which way we go, we decided that. If we roll the dice and go on the cruise, we made that damn decision, right? Completely a much better place to be. I really do appreciate you. And I understand the worry. I really do. And to truth be told, the next time I end up in a federal court, I'm not getting out. I mean, that's they're pretty clear on that. The judge said, if I ever see you in here again, and what's crazy is, more often than not, like, that judge was my judge. He was a senior judge. He was retired for all intents and purposes. But every time I got in trouble in the feds, he would come out and be like, hey, look, it's you. I need a card. Good to see you. Took an interest in me. I think he's a good man, in all honesty. Did a little research on that judge after I got out, watched a couple of videos that had been done on him, and I think he's a good man. I didn't think that at the time. Robin W., good to see you. Robin W. says, that is too great a risk to me. It would crush her and us. Well, and that's one of the most frightening things. And I think that's I think Quibb's in her head. I think she envisions literally doing a show and going, he's locked up, and I think that's in a loop in her head. That's something that is really. And I can't, if it was the other way around, I'd be tripping. I really would. I'd be tripping. I'm not picking on her. I'd be losing my, yeah. You don't have to do yet except continuing to make a difference in everyone's lives who are on this boat. Don't make me turn this boat around. Thank you. And don't make me whip this boat around. That is absolutely one of my favorite expressions. It really is. My dad was such a big fan of that. Deeming says, hi, Admiral. We need to get you one of those pocket cams 24/7 and stream it for subs. You'll be protected and make some money. I'd sign up. You know what? I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I think I might have done a couple of 24 hours. Or no, maybe I only did one. Yeah, I think I did one 24-hour. A pocket cam, huh? If I could get a pocket cam, I think I would put it on a cat. A lot of people have said they're really stupid for telegraphing their moves. I'm not exactly sure that's how it went down. I think that, I can't, but that's not exactly how it went down. Understand your viewpoint, but Reese, has not been out as long. For her mental security, I say don't go. Squirrel Girl, you know what? This is why you go live. Because in all honesty, this is probably going to sound really crappy, but I didn't take that into account at all. I really didn't. As I'm running through this, and I got a fidget toy, a pen, and my journal, right? And as I'm going through this, and I'm writing down, pros, cons, things like that. It's huge. It does not define her, but it is definitely a defining part of her life, right? I really should have. I should have. I should have had that in my head. I really should have. Thank you. That's a great comment. You know something? It's more of a heads up. But even if somebody gives you a heads up, it still means that there's a threat out there, correct? So it's kind of, and whenever something like that happens, the last thing in the world you want to do is talk about it, I guess. Pat Hansen, good to see you. You're. You know what's insane is every single time one of you writes something, I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And then the next person will write something, and I'll be like, ooh, no, you're right. That's a great point. And you know why that is for real? Because this isn't a bunch of subscribers. I know that that's such a cliche, and it makes you want to vomit and all that. Carry on. Good to see you. But there really is something to this, right? We do spend a lot of time getting to know people on our channels, and the other thing that's just it would have been the easiest decision in the entire world if you don't feel like you're letting down people who are really great people who are looking forward to meeting you. That's something that I don't know. I've never not showed up for something like that. Neither has Reese, right? We've never no showed it. It just seems tough. You know what? This is beautiful. British Columbia says, question: some countries don't allow those with criminal records in. Did you check to see if these Caribbean countries are okay to enter if you were to go? I have been a crim for a very, very long time. What I mean by that is I got my first felonies in the 80s, right? And I have traveled the Caribbean extensively with a passport, and it's never been an issue. Now, I have had tons of places that I've gone to that will not let me in, right? That is an experience that I have had a buttload of times. There are countries that are super serious about it, and I've been thrown out of a few countries. But it's a great question. I've never had a problem in the Caribbean. Gamer Jackie, I absolutely think that these people are trying to force Cribs to live in fear. Absolutely. And me. They would like both of us to live in fear. And I'll be really honest with you. I don't think this is coming from a place of fear. I really don't. I think that an abundance of caution, it might be a better way to put it. There could be another cruise in the future when she's ready. Squirrel Girl, thank you. And you know something? There's a part of me that thinks, you know what I really ought to do? What I really ought to do is grab her and take her on a vacation, and with all due respect to everybody here, not tell a soul where I took her. Right? And then come back with a bunch of photos and pictures and say, hey, we were safe as hell. No one knew who we are. The great thing about being a content creator is that within this little realm, a bunch of people know who you are. But normally you can slip into society and just be a normal, and no one's going to run up and go, hey, aren't you? Except for my brother. Johnny I get noticed all the time, but people think I'm my brother. It's real because we are all, exactly. Because we're all badasses. We know stuff. Well, and there's a lot of truth. We know stuff. That's a quibism. I know things, or I know more. That's another one. Comment: the guilt she would feel if something happens would be immeasurable. She would never forgive herself, even though it's not her fault. You're absolutely right. And you could have a dozen people standing there going, this dude's not like that. Like he runs a sobriety channel. What they're going to do is called NCIC, right? They run you through the National Crime Information Computer. And I'm not mad at them, but you run me through NCIC, and they're not going to treat me well. They're really not. I mean, just plain and simple, they're not going to treat me well. The I as Quibble would say, this wasn't jaywalking, right? I none of my crimes are the kind that, believe it or not, like bank robbery, for instance, they now call that the T word, right? That we're you know what? I can't say that word because they will demonetize it really bad. But you know what I'm talking about. That we're on like a no-fly list and all kinds of stuff. Like I was going to be funding some some militia or some crap with the bank robbery money. I was basically just trying to stay high, But yeah, you get put on a list, and I've told the story on here 100 times. But when I got out from prison, not this last time, but the previous time, I was a mile from my house. I had a little Mercedes-Benz convertible. I was like a mile from my house, and a cop pulls up behind me and throws his lights on. And I promise you, I had not done anything wrong, right? Nothing. So I pull over on the side of the road, and he gets out and he starts asking me questions. And he's like, "Where are you coming from?" I'm like, "Where am I coming from? The hell is that? What do you mean? Where am I coming from? None of your business where I'm coming from." But he took my license, and when he came back to the car, he said, "Have you ever been to prison for anything?" I said, "I have." And he goes, "What have you been to prison for most recently?" And I said, "Bank robbery." And I didn't get the end of that robbery word out, and he was like this. I'm not kidding you, right there in my face, Barney Fife style, with his finger on the inside of the trigger guard. Like I said, "Hey, yeah, take a deep breath, bro. Take a deep breath. I can fly, Laura Lou. I can't fly to Canada. Can't fly to Australia. Germany gets pretty dicey about it as well. There are countries that don't like felons. Chad is the best. I love my chosen family. Thank you. You know something? This really is very much like a family. And hey, John Van Geest, this is something that when we first started to talk about this. I said, there's no one's going to give us crap for this. Honestly, what do you say to somebody? I really wanted my vacation, man. Get your butt on that boat, and if something bad happens, we'll just deal with that then. Yeah, the biggest gift you can give her is peace. I honestly, can I drive to Canada? I can't enter Canada in any way, shape, or form. I'm not allowed to enter Canada. Unless I open up a business up there. Because at one time I could fly back and forth to Canada, but that's because I did have a business in Canada. And we had to hop through some hoops. But once my business was shut down, like I tried to go back and see a friend, and it didn't happen. I got to customs and they went, "Oh, hell no." Tommy, you can fly to the UK. There are awesome places you can get. Yeah, you know something? A lot of truth to that. If you get over to the UK, you can start getting on trains and just sort of cruising around. Yeah, you're good, Gamer Jackie. Yeah, that comment. You two are not average Joes. You both are beautifully unique and highly nuanced individuals with distinctive backgrounds. It's not a black and white situation. People don't get it. Sorry, Robin. You know what? It's a beautiful thing to say. Honest to God, what a beautiful thing to say. And I'll be really honest. The vast majority of the people in my life do get it. The vast majority of people in my life have absolutely given me a second chance, and I think it's the reason that the lifeboat works, right? Because the guy sitting here, at the helm, has really worn out, right? I can't ever go back. Like my criminal history was pretty severe. Yadira says, you're welcome in Puerto Rico. Plans can be made behind the scenes, and my beaches match Reese's eyes. Well, there you go. Huh? There you go. You know, I think there's a lot of truth to that. It's like the Caribbean, right before a storm. Yeah. Larry Brightboy says, I still believe there is more grace in this world than hatred. Live in that fact when we can. You know, that's a beautiful thing to say too, man. It really is. Becky says, go have fun. They all go through security too. You'll have your own army of security detail followers. You know, here's one of the other things though that does bear mentioning. Not everybody there digs us. For real. As far as the people walking around that boat, there's a few on there that are not fond of me. Yeah, John Van Geest. It's weird, right? I was hired as a public speaker for a Canadian company, and I had to hop through hoops, but because basically I was leaving a lot of tax dollars in Canada. Yeah, they were pretty cool with it, and I think that's probably most countries. I mean, Snoop Dogg travels all over the world, right? Like that cat. I know he's been to Australia, so it's just certain felons, I guess. Were those hoops like Space Jam with Michael? No, these are the kind of things that they trap you into this never-ending cycle of paperwork and very often turn you down anyway. Lisa Trimble says, what would happen if Reese went to the 3 biggest newspapers in the US and just released everything? It's an interesting question. It really is. It's an interesting question. I think you'd have a harder time getting the 3 biggest newspapers in the U.S. to play ball, and I'll tell you why. And I'm not trying to open up a whole different can of worms here, right? But it's bought and paid for, man. Right? The news, unfortunately, is bought and paid for, and yeah, it's one of the reasons that nobody trusts them. I selfishly don't want you guys to go because I would be a wreck with worry for a week. Hot Mess Express, I can't. You know, believe it or not, Quibs brought this up. And it probably says more about who she is than who I am, because that also didn't occur to me. But Quib said, can you imagine if the 12 or 13,000 people that do watch us on the regular can't hear from us? Like if we can't, broadcast or we can't get anything out, we're going to have a bunch of people that are tripping, yeah. Laura Lou says, someone there is a jester. And if not, they absolutely have got their hands into a lot of things. I mean, they're very, very successful people for the most part. I mean, that's the truth. They really are. If you go through these books, these cats aren't failures. Well, with 1 or 2 notable exceptions. For the most part, these guys are not failures. Ronan Farrow is one heck of an investigative reporter. Damn straight he is. Damn straight he is. Ronan Farrow's incredible. And he doesn't care who he steps on, which is really kind of cool. The news has always been bought and paid for. Big stories come out when there are brave journalists who are willing to risk their jobs to tell a story. You're exactly right. Right? The days of Woodward and Bernstein and Deep Throat, I don't think those days are coming back. Right? I don't think that there's ever going to be a time again where we're like, hey, let's turn on the evening news and trust what they say. I think that that's waved bye-bye, sadly. Or maybe not sadly. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe that's what's supposed to happen. Right? Maybe that's the evolution. Right and Wrong says, yes, credit card debt. Well, I think that there are some people out there. There are some people out there that are that may be living beyond their means, right? Yeah, they are moral. Here's the thing. I don't know how you compartmentalize that crap. I really don't. And I want to make a point. I know this isn't popular when I say this, but I've never met, in my experience, I've never met a Mason that was doing any of the crap these guys are doing. I really never did, and I knew a lot of them. But apparently, as they start paring down into smaller groups, but if you read, I mean, the code and the creed from Freemasonry, none of that stuff flies, man. None of it. excess drinking, right? Whoring, for lack of a better way to put it. It's this isn't something that's ever been condoned. So I don't know how they compartmentalize that or compartmentalize their religion either. Right? It's just ridiculous. Kidding. Never thought I could use Space Jam in a chat or Michael Jordan yet. Here we are. Worked it in. I can do whatever I want. That's true. When it's your funds, you absolutely can do whatever you want. And it is very often, it's like your canvas. For real, you do have the opportunity to do some funny things. You can't be everywhere. And how many? Well, here's the thing, people. So one of the places this thing is stopping is in Curacao, which is where the Freewinds apparently spends the all of its time, and where they have a lot of inroads apparently in that island, and they it's just there's a lot of things that are all coming together in one perfect storm of fecal matter. I would be one of those people that would be a nervous wreck if you all went on the cruise. Too many mean and vengeful people leading sad, miserable lives. I'm sad for you both. You know what? This is going to sound so friggin' cheesy, and I don't care. I really don't. If I could hang out for 8 days alone with her, it wouldn't bother me if I was not on a boat. Right? It may be crazy, but I'm really I'm less enthralled with the environment than I am the company. For real, it's one of those things that in the right company, it's you don't really worry about a whole lot of other crap. I really don't. And the right before I flew back from Tennessee, I don't remember. I honestly don't remember being that happy. I'm sure there's been a time in my life where I was, but I don't remember. That was pretty fantastic. The mountains are calling your name, says Mrs. Garner. Well, you know something? I am a big fan of the mountains. How about a meetup for several, possibly including a prom onshore a day or two pre-departure? That was Shelley Kelly's idea. That actually that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. You could just sneak somewhere off with your girl. That's kind of what I was saying, right? Just grab her and run off with her, right? It actually sounds pretty cool. Because these are my funds, this boat changes lives. I'm so grateful for Spanx and Tommy. I don't have much to provide to the conversation, but I love this channel. This channel saves lives. Thanks, Tommy. Thank you so much, Analytical Blarney. I really appreciate you. You know something? The back in the day, you know what they'd be saying right now? Did you get a hold of Ted's credit card? Like that used to be the running joke whenever things started happening like this. It was probably Ted's credit card that was on the line. Just Jones says it's not about your fear, Tommy. It's about Reese's newness to the world that makes the difference. She hasn't been around the world. Huxley, Spanx, and your daughter could be without you both. It's a very solid and legitimate point. And there's no way to argue that and not be a nozzle, right? Usually watch on replay. Tommy is my lifeline out of this depression I'm in. Well, you know what, Connie? I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that you popped up on that we got one here early, so you could join us. I love that. I really do. Welcome, Yorkie Mom. Take her somewhere Spanx can still bond with Hux, and we all won't worry. See, there you go. And then depending on where we end up, maybe we can. Tommy, no, I said that's Tommy. Okay, that's you. You do that forever. Well, thank you, Analytical Barney. I may have read that wrong. I apologize. I may have read that wrong. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that we could explore. I forget. I know that sounds stupid, but I swear to God, I forget that that she's a year and a half out of that crap. You know what I mean? you guys watch her when like when the two of us are live and we're just laughing our asses off and sort of clowning and having a great time. We do that together. We really do. We do that together all the time. And she's just a happy person, and and she just seems really grounded. And I think it's sometimes easy to forget that these are all brand new activities. These are all things that, well, hell, who the hell's dealt with this? Even if you are in the real world, this isn't the kind of stuff that real people, that. And again, too, like I could talk to you guys, but if you talk to people, like if I talk to anybody that I knew and said, well, let me tell you what's happening, with YouTube, they would look at me and go, what? Like I was the world's biggest idiot. The whole content creator thing, I think, really loses some people in the, along the way. You are smitten, Tommy, and it warms my heart. She's just so worried that something would happen to you. DNV, I think you're probably right. Hey, Charlie Mullins, good to see you. In fact, I know you're right. It's, I can't begin to tell you, what a caring person that she is. I really can't. It's, I think like many of the second gens, they often look a little tougher than they are. And I'm not saying that in any kind of a disrespectful way. I'm really not. But I mean, they were bull baiting her at 4, right? That has the ability to really jack with a person's mind. And what did you have to do? You had to show them no emotion. You had to, right? So I don't know. You'll hear her say all the time, like, I'm not worried about any of that stuff. I made it through Scientology. But this is all really, really bizarre stuff. It really is. This is bizarre. And I'll tell you something else. Quib's channel is about a year old, right? And she had a great honeymoon period on YouTube. I mean, for real. She made it a solid year before she really had the troll defectors, right? This happens all the time to YouTube channels. People who are your best friend on Monday, and then just decide that maybe you're getting a little too big, right, on Tuesday, and they just trash you. And this is a phenomenon that happens a lot. And you know what? After a while, you go, who cares, right? What's the big deal? Who cares? But the first time it happens to you, and this is a person that you've been emailing back and forth and you're friends with, and you've got time and effort invested into this relationship. In your head, it's not parasocial. And then the person plants one firmly in the middle of your back. Well, this all kind of happened at the same time as the gesture crap and everything else. So this has been kind of the perfect storm of stress, right? Really has been. And not just for Reese, for me as well. In my humble opinion, weigh the potential risks versus the potential benefits. Whichever one outweighs the other is the answer. Would you believe me, Kristen Melinda, if I actually pretty much said the same thing? I really did. Deeming says, Tommy, as an abused woman, I learned not to live fear-filled, just move aware, and never make things easy for ex-abusers. Plans take a little more thought. You'll both adjust, learn to go, stay safe. You know something? I said this today. I don't know whether or not I said it here or where. I don't know. Maybe I was texting with Quibble, but everything has changed. I mean, it really has. Everything has changed. It's and it's just different. It doesn't mean that things are going to suck. There's a lot of really, really cool things about making a living this way. You can spend a lot of time around the house, right? You can spend a lot of time with your kids. I can play with Squirrel. I can do other things, right? But this is, if somebody were to say to anybody in YouTube, what's the drawback of what you do for a living? No one's going to say anything else. They're going to go trolls. Yeah, they suck. They absolutely suck. You sounded like 7 Days, a song by Craig David. I don't know if I know that song. Somebody should email it to me. Damn! Real friends stab you in the front. How utterly heartbreaking. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Do, 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 do. It comes down to jealousy. Why don't we stop trying to be somebody else and be ourselves? Be the best that we can be. Well, you know what? There's a lot of truth to the fact that it comes down to jealousy. It's a rare thing that you come across somebody who's a troll that didn't have a channel, right? That didn't try to make a go of it. And usually because they don't have a platform for their voice, they're going to use yours, right? Whether you like it or not. And they're going to do that by trashing you or whatever. And they get really angry when you don't engage, right? When you don't come out and make videos, with their names in it and all that. Dee Razzle Dazzle says, you and Reese are so great for each other. It's so inspiring to see how your relationship is growing. You've both been through so much to find each other. Why, thank you, Dee. And I think if my partner were here, she would be the first to tell you that we're working really hard to put together something that can be long term. I think both of us are terrified of losing the friendship that we have. And you know something? We don't have any of these fears when we're in the same building. We don't. It's and I think both of us knew that this was just going to be hard. This is just going to be hard, but it is something that I needed to do. I can't really abandon your life. You kind of got to go and take care of stuff. But yes, alert! You have found a song that I have not heard. Cricket, it's official. But yeah, I definitely want to hear that now. And money on YouTube is kind of feast or famine, isn't it? Yeah, good months and bad months. And honestly, yeah, you know what, Kristen Melinda, there's a lot of truth to that. There are months, that you'll do a month where you'll be like, oh my God, you know what? I can make a living at this. And then you hit months, especially whatever's going on in the world has a lot to do with YouTube. YouTube changes up in January every year. It changes in September every year, right? There are just certain times of the year that things change. Smidge of Snow, good to see you. But just one of those. Again, this is so much fun. It really is. And when you're sitting and doing it with somebody that you love, right? This is like, pinch me kind of crap. For real. The prospect that I could sit next to Quibble and the two of us could clown for a living. And that really is kind of what we do, right? We're entertainers, for lack of a better way to put it. But it's funny as hell. It really is. And I would watch Quibble if I wasn't sitting next to her, I'd still be watching her. She makes me laugh to no end. But she makes me laugh harder when I'm sitting right next to her and interacting. Please don't go. Don't say other words. Squirrel Girl nailed that one. I mean, seriously, where do you go when someone says, don't say other words? Boy, does that make me laugh. Dream job. Yeah, it's a dream job. If you can sit next to your girlfriend and make content, that is a dream job. But every silver lining's got a touch of gray. And this is kind of, it is what it is, right? You take the good with the bad. But I think that we're always going to try to err on the side of caution, I think. Smidge of Snow says this channel is such a blessing. Evil will try to destroy the threat. You know something? I know people that used to laugh at sentiments like that. I know people that used to think that that kind of talk was crazy. If you ever spend any time around a lot of bad people, right? Prison's a great example, but it doesn't have to be prison, right? If you're just committing crime, there's a, in any environment where you're surrounded by criminals, you will get you will watch good things get stomped out. You will watch wholesome things. It's like, it honest to God looks like it just grinds on crappy people. It really does. Something about people being content, something about people connecting, right? Just grinds on some people's gears, which is sad, right? It's sad. And the saddest thing is this. The saddest thing is that there were people who used to kick it in the chat, right? Have a lot of fun. I don't know. It really is an ugly thing. Sobriety sound off 14 months here. Congratulations, JWO. And that's fantastic. 14 months is a beautiful thing. It really is. That's over a year, people. Deep into the second year, actually. Deep into the second year. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. You're not a sushi guy. Um, I I love sushi. As much as we love you both and feel like we know you both, we are not in your everyday life or know your innermost thoughts. Protecting yourself is powerful and respectful. You know what? Thank you, Sassy Savage. What a great comment. For real. There's that lifeboat wisdom. No joke. For real. The kind of things that people say here all the time where I'm like, damn. But this was an important one for me because I will be honest. No, never will be. Kestrel, it never will be. There's no doubt. It's just a really weird thing. It really is. It's a very weird thing. But and it does what it does. You know, it does what it does. As I've said many times, I've got a really solid 5, so I got a really solid 4. It's not the end of the world, I promise you. It sucks. And Hummingbird, good to see you. Glad that you are here. People, the I have a ton of love and respect for everybody here and for the kindness that people show, even when the things that we talk about may not be something that makes everybody happy, right? I'm sure that people would have been happier if we could have just this could have been easy. I would have been happier if this could have been easy. Hold on, people, 1 second, because here we go. Squirrel nut zipper in the squirrel cam. You gotta love the squirrel cam. And did you see that, people? I did that. Like that was Tommy Scoville that figured out the squirrel cam completely on his own. Hey, squirrel, you want to give the camera a little peepsy? What do you think? Yeah, you're such a good girl. What a pretty kitty, huh? I'm telling you, she's one of the great cats of all time. Crystal Primo, good to see you. Was that too loud for you, Cat? Oh, no, she's looking at something out the window. That wasn't my fault. I think damaged people understand damaged people. No disrespect, but real life issues, please stay strong. No, you know what? I think that there's a lot of truth to this. And I think it's one of the things that drew Reese and I together from the very beginning is that her background, people look at Scientologists like they're crazy, like you're Tom Cruise, and they really do get shunned. That people look at them like they're different. And when someone hears the word Scientology, there is a switch that goes off in people's eyes, very much like when you say, I've been to prison. For a lot of people, it's the same kind of thing. And I believe that the common trauma, right? Although the trauma is different, the common trauma is something that I do think it probably made us kinder people toward one another. She's far more accepting of me and my past, and I am far more accepting of her as a former Scientologist. West Coast Fancy Nancy, Tommy and Reese, I adore you both. Well, thank you. And you know what? It's important. Everybody hates Scientology, right? Everybody does. It's the truth, right? Nobody likes Scientology. Everybody hates Scientology. The last marriage that she was in, this dude really hated Scientology and kind of continued to call her a Scientologist and kind of trash her for that. And because of that, she speaks 2 languages, right? When you're bilingual, there are times where you kind of got to explain something in like Spanglish, right? You have to use both of the languages that you speak in order to get your point across. And I think when somebody treats you like crap, the inability for her to say, well, this is how I would say it in Scientology, or the inability for her to say, this is a concept that is this. In Scientology, we would call it this. If no one does that, if you're kept from doing that, It makes the growth process damn near impossible. I beg to differ. You could be safe and surrounded by a bunch of criminals if you're a student at Yuma High School, as that is their mascot. Go Criminals! You're kidding me. Wow, there is a mascot that are the Crims? That is too funny. How cool is that? Well, I'm definitely need to get a shirt. Go Criminals. Analytical Blarney says damaged people learn to grow together. That is what this channel is about. That is what transitions the damage to healing. This boat does that. You know what? That is what this channel is all about. It really is. It's what this channel is all about. When it was called the Tommy Scoville Show, I never liked that name. I hated that. I really did. But when it was called the Tommy Scoville Show and we had yet to get a name, we would say all the time, someone would come in and they would talk about this drug or that drug, whatever. And I would say, it doesn't matter. We're all in the same boat, right? It doesn't matter. We're all in the same boat. And that's kind of what started the entire thing. But we really are. Everybody here is in the same boat. Where's your sense of Yuma? Nice. Grouchy Mama there says, where's your sense of Yuma? Comment, some cultures repair broken pottery with gold. It's still damaged, but more beautiful for the scars. You know what, Gamer Jackie? Not for nothing, but you do 2,000 of these things where you sit in front of the camera, and I've done 2,000 some odd number of these things for an hour a piece at least. When you do enough of them, a lot of them will blend together and you may not be too proud of them, or you don't have ones that stick out. I did a show on that particular type of art where they take broken pottery and they paint it with gold. I did an entire show on it. You know what? I was damn proud of that show. I really was. It was a good show. I don't know if I can remember the name of it, but it was a damn good show. It really was. Angie, this boat loves you. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. This is my reminder to myself to have a little grace with those around me. You know what? Now that's absolutely beautiful. Everybody catch that? A little grace. God, help us, man. A little grace goes such a long way. Knew what, where? Sadly, everybody hates Scientology is only in the U.S. I've read of people in countries that don't communicate in English and or don't have much ease in connecting to the internet. Oh, are entering it. Yeah, you know what? Places without internet, I can see where this would really be a problem, because let's be honest, that is what's killing them. What is killing them is this right here, right? The ability for everybody to look up and kind of see what Scientology is. We're healing about, right? It's not about that personality test. But yeah, and I think that they target islands. They absolutely target islands, usually because it's not hard to really make inroads in a country that small. You take the average Caribbean island and you're looking at what, 15 to 25 miles long. These are not really big stretches of land. Fixing pottery with gold usually has beautiful results. It really does. It has absolutely gorgeous results. And there's a great story of a couple of different vessels, and one had cracks all in it. It's really a beautiful story. I should probably do it again because it really was a good one. What do you do when your own family won't give you grace at the hardest of times? Get a new family. For real. It's time you build a new family, especially a support family, right? A sobriety family, a support family, whatever you want to call it. But if the family that you got dealt, right, if that hand isn't working out perfectly, you can pick your family. I promise you can. No joke. And that's awful. If they're not standing by you at the worst of times, I think you need to pick a new family. Yeah, John Van Geese has the right idea. I think we need to spread the knowledge to other language communities then. I think that there's a lot to be said for that. I think there's a lot to be said for that. Choose a new family, definitely, says Yadira. Yep. That's why I've joined the lifeboat. Well, I love that. I really do. Angie Mo says, I'm going through the same thing. And I bet there's a lot of people going through that. Hold on one second. So nasty, people. And I'm taking Zyrtec too, and it doesn't do a damn thing. It really doesn't. Blood may be thicker than water, but so is gravy, mayonnaise, motor oil, etc. I don't set my loyalty based on relative viscosity of fluids. Oh, I like that. I like that. Well said. Well said. In my opinion, says Martha, in my opinion, those matching fur coats lighted the fuse for their relationship to blast off. I think that the coats helped. My hubby's calling me to watch General Hospital. Can you believe I got him hooked on this soap opera? Wow. Wow. You know, amazingly, there were a lot of guys in prison that got really into soap operas. It used to stagger the imagination. I would look at him and be like, you're kidding me, bro. You're kidding me. I do need some good old-fashioned. You know something, Natalie? Here's the thing. I've been given old-fashioned handkerchiefs by 50 people. I kid you not. And I do use them a lot. But I had a polishing cloth for a watch right there. So I've always connected to the problem children. They were and are my friends. Everyone needs love and acceptance within the boundaries you set. It makes real friends. You know what? It's yeah, the island of misfit toys. There really is something to be said for that. You know, very often the trauma comes from being shunned, right? And maybe not by all of society, you know, maybe just by family or a family member or friends or whatever. But that feeling that we don't fit in, that feeling of being shunned, is a very real thing for an awful lot of people, and it's the start of everything bad. It really is, because then we withdraw, and the more we withdraw, right, the less we connect, and connection is the cure for everything, right? For real, it really is. It really makes a difference in people's lives. It really does. When we stopped connecting, things kind of got ugly. Mo Love, good to see you. Yeah, it's just sort of so much unconditional love flying around tonight. I groove on it. You know what, Jilbo? I do too. Jesse Brown says, with all the experiences we have from being in the darkest places in life, that between us all, there is nothing we cannot do. You know what? Thank you, Jesse. I tell stories all the time about in the early days of the lifeboat, where for probably 6 months we went live every day, and there was probably 13 or 14 people in it. Jesse was one of those 13 or 14 every day. And I swear to God, if any of them bailed, I probably would have. My spirit would have been broken, and I probably would have skulked off into the corner. But none of them did. None of them did. It's pretty incredible stuff. Writing songs. Look at Squirrel pretending she doesn't hear you when she's really taking notes on how to take over your channel. Oh, wait a sec. Don't be silly. Kim Roy, how are you? Don't be silly. Somebody sent me a thing the other day that said, hey, Squirrel needs her own channel. I'm like, this is Squirrel's channel. What are you talking about? Like, we all work for the cat. You know that. You know that. Seriously, I cleaned her kitty litter. I fed her, right? I take her outside and stand over her to make sure no hawks get her. Yeah, I'm getting played by this cat on the regular. She's just so cute. It's hard when you have a big heart and a lot of love to give. You want connection so bad, it makes it easy to be taken advantage of. You know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I've been, the squirrel shorts are great. They really are. I've been kicked in the teeth while helping somebody so many times since I started the lifeboat. And, you know, you're literally trying to help somebody and they rip you off, and you think to yourself, it makes you want to turn around and run in the opposite direction and say, you know what, F every one of these people, right? But the person that ripped me off, that's not them. Right? For real. I mean, the reason we were having a conversation is because they have this absolutely horrific disease The fact that they just ripped me off is a symptom to that absolutely horrific disease, right? I kind of knew exactly what I was getting into, but it's painful. It really is. It's painful, but it's part of the gig. What a fun night. But the D-backs are calling. Okay. Yeah, your YHS Crim shirt is on the way. Nice. And another present I sent was delivered to your P.O. box today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really do. And I love shirts. They're always fun. Can I take a totally different allergy med? You know what, Casey? I need to try one. I really do need to try one. I'm always a lot better if I navage right before I go live. And this time it just came down to timing, right? It really did. It just came down to timing. Hey, Brandon, how are you? Good to see you, my brother. Miss Dragon, how are you? I'll tell you something, people. Out of the blue, every once in a while, I don't know whether it has something to do with the atrial flutter or whatever the hell it is, but out of the blue, completely out of the blue, no warning, no nothing, I just get like I'm on fire. You know, you just get your whole body is just hot. I feel like the back of my head starts sweating. It's just and I don't feel my heart fluttering. I don't feel any of that crap. But I'm not exactly sure what's causing that. But it's always weird when it happens. Sending love to you and Reese. I'm sorry that you were dealing with toxic humans. Yeah, you know what? I really prefer the people with fur on them. The people with fur on them are just nicer people. Chicka Cherry Cola, good to see you. You know what? Cricket knows me and probably was watching me try not to say hot flashes. But that's exactly what it is. I mean, I get a hot flash. Yeah, it's you're in menopause and dealing with hot flash. Could be. Could be. I don't know what it is, but literally like the shirt will start sticking to my back. It's just instant sweat. I don't know why that is. That's a pretty cool concept, No Face. You need to make some lifeboat, life rings, life vests, flotation devices, donate profit to kids learning to swim. Hobbies are good for kids. Idle hands are the devil's playground. I got to agree with that. I really do. And big fan of swimming. I had a lot of fun swimming with Hux. You hate hot flashes? I'm not a fan either. Yeah, I am really not a fan either. Matrix Rabbit, good to see you. How are you? Yeah, you know what, people? I hate to do it to you, but I can't. I'm gonna have to go and go through my checklist because now it most assuredly is my heart, and maybe that is what's up. Maybe I get the hot flash before the heart, but I'm in full flutter right now, which again ain't the end of the world. It's just a checklist of stuff that I got to go through. But sorry about that. 44 years from heroin and opiates next week. 44 years, man. 44 years. Oh, man. That's my drug of choice. God bless you. 44 years. You're winning. I mean, winning big time, man. Honest to God, I cannot tell you the absolute respect I have for someone who is addicted to opiates who makes it 44 years. I mean, that really is incredible. God bless you. I love it. I love it. I don't know that I'll live long enough to catch 44 years, but all righty, people. I'm going to go and take care of me. I am Captain Tommy, and this right here, that's a cat in a basket. Giggity. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.